Taxi!
There's quite a lot of things happening this year in the trade.
Is there?
Yeah,
secrets?
yeah.
What secrets?
I wouldn't say secrets, but there's lots of things what people are talking about on social media and stuff, and things that are kind of come up this year. One of the things that's coming up is they're looking at licensing rickshaws, pedicabs, whatever you're going to call them.
Oh, yeah.
That's an outrage in itself, isn't it? To be honest, with my opinion of it, they shouldn't be anywhere near the street there.
No, they're dangerous, they're unlawful, but they're looking at how they're making them lawful. I just can't see how they can do it.
Make them lawful by banning them.
That is what I think should happen. That is what most people think should happen, but it ain't going to happen. The reality is it ain't going to happen. They're not going to ban them.
How's
They're not going to
How's the
ban
world gone completely crazy? Because going back a few years, right? Go back 30 years.
Yeah.
That would be counted as a motorised vehicle. Without a number plate, without a licence, without everything. That's a motorised vehicle. And it now it's exactly the same as an electric vehicle. It has an electric motor on it. You can pedal it as well.
Heartbreaking.
There's
The problem I see with all this is enforcement. There is no enforcement. There's not enough police. There's no
will to enforcement.
There's no. They don't want it. They're not interested. They've got bigger fish to fry. They
No,
always
it ain't.
think they have.
Anything to do with push bikes, they will let it go.
I know.
Because that's what they want.
They want them.
They will let them go through red lights. They will let them knock people down.
But you got
They're
to be
only just
careful.
starting to moan. They're only just starting to moan about these electric scooters that are doing so much damage. You know why? Because of the burden on the NHS of all the broken legs and things like that. So they're starting to moan and want to bring that, but they will let it get to it because they want people to. They want people to use it. That's what they want. It's part of their agenda.
Yeah, when these Lime bikes first came out, I was quite happy. I quite liked them. I was using them, and I thought they were quite good. But they've got out of control. They're leaving them all over the road. They're filling up our taxi ranks. All right, we ain't got enough cabs for the ranks, but that's another scenario altogether. But, you know, they're everywhere. But then the rickshaws, they're taking our customers and they're ripping them off.
Mm.
Like, you know, I've heard stories of like £100 a mile. £100 a mile.
Yeah. I think I saw a YouTube video doing exactly that.
Yeah. There's a guy on TikTok or whatever it is, and
Yeah.
he's filming it, saying like, "You
He don't
asked
pay him,
for
does he?
120
I'll give you
quid.
20 quid, he
Give you a
says.
score, yeah." And he's like, "No, you're breaking the rules or whatever." Like he was trying to enforce it. But
What rules? I mean,
yeah, I know.
surely they've got no governance anyway. They can't.
I was at the cricket a couple of years ago at the Oval, and I've come out, and there's a guy outside, and he's got a thing around his neck, and I've gone, "How much to so and so?" And he's gone, "Oh, it's 150 quid." I went, "What?" Because I just wanted to see what he had to say, and I said, "Have you got a license?" He went, "Yeah, look." He had his picture on there and all that. I went, "Oh, can I take a picture of that?" So I've never seen that ceremony. He was like, "Oh no, you can't do that. It's against the law." Like they make up their own rules, and they want to. They actually going to give these people licenses. How they're going to do it, I don't know. Like all I know is that it's coming this year. That's what's being talked about. So I just don't know what else to say about that.
London's finished.
They should be banned. They should be banned, shouldn't they?
That's the only thing. That's the only logical explanation. But if you ban them, then they're already illegal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what? How do you stop it? You can't stop it.
You can. You start locking them up.
Yeah. You start
But there's
confiscating.
no
You start
enforcement. They're
you
not
start
interested.
locking them up. You imagine in the 1980s what the police were like then.
Yeah.
They would have
They
done it
would have
then.
had zero
But
tolerance of you.
Now, if you rung up the 999 or 101 and said, "Sorry, can you just come down to Selfridges, please? Because there's 5 thingies that," they would say, "Well, can you come and pick us up?"
How about if you turn
You know what I
up, if the old bills turn up in a truck, take them away and crush them every single time.
Yeah.
Crush them every single time. And then and lock them up, minimum
that's-
6 months every time.
But that's aggressive, Dave.
You got to be
That's
aggressive.
aggressive. But you can't
You
be
gotta be
aggressive.
aggressive. Yes, you
can't
can.
be aggressive.
You're very aggressive.
Yeah, I know, but this is way we think. But the way we think, it's not right anymore, is it?
They want to bring back capital punishment.
Yeah.
I would vote for that straight away. In fact, I'll be the one to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you used to be
I'll
the
do
hangman,
nothing
Dave.
for free.
But I've
I'd
seen
work
them.
for
I've
free.
seen them. I've seen them topple over. I've seen them go around corners and topple over with people in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want to go up and say, "Why didn't you get a black cab?" Well, you know, it would have been cheaper and you would have been safe.
You think they're using that instead of a black cab? You think they would have used a black cab to do that? They're using it for the novelty factor.
They are, yeah. They're not looking at it for transport, are they?
No.
You know.
But don't you think as well that it doesn't take a genius? If it was me and I was in, let's say, Milan, and there's a geezer on a pedal bike, from what I know about all my world travels, who's got, it says, "Get in, mate," I'd be absolutely no way, because I know that what you're going to do is you're going to make up the price when I get out at the end. It's going to be some sort of rip-off, whatever, that I'm not going to be happy about.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not getting in.
Listen, I'm going to hold my hands up here. I've been to Bangkok and I got on a motorised rickshaw.
Yeah,
and
but they're
it
rickshaws.
scared the crap out of me, and I would never get in one again. That was a one-off.
Yeah, but they're licensed taxis, some of them motorbikes.
Yeah.
They are. They're taxis.
I believe they are.
They are. They
are,
work
but
in
the-
codes for the police.
The
they do
way
out
they drive. Whew.
I had some good experiences out there with them motorbikes, taxis there.
Well, I thought
And
that
Bangkok
I
and
thought it was
Pattaya
dangerous.
and all
I
that
didn't
that
like
way,
it.
yeah.
I didn't enjoy it, and I got in a car, and it was much nicer.
And they would take 2 or 3 passengers on the motorbike.
Yeah. But it was they were
Yeah,
motorised.
but they all wear vests with different taxis. They are motorised
It is different.
taxis.
It is different. And
These are charlatans on our streets.
they are. They are.
They're
They are.
complete thieves and vagabonds.
They are. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
that.
all they are.
Yeah,
They
it's
are
completely different.
shysters,
You're right.
everything. That's all
the,
they
the
are.
Bangkok experience was scary. but
They
it's
are
completely different.
licensed, regulated, checked.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that help the police when there's any type of crime or theft.
Do
Ones
you-
out there. So
do
it's
you-
completely different. These are the thieves in London.
Do you think that they're going to try and make it like that, though? That's an interesting thing you're saying, because do you think that's what they want to do? And if so, if they want to make them like that, then what have they got to do to be like that? What tests are they going to give them?
Well, they'll come contradict their knowledge, won't it? How do they pick
This is
someone
another
up?
worry,
How
right?
do they pick someone up? Someone says, oh, I want to go to Charing Cross. How can they? That's applying for hire, surely. Isn't it?
Yeah.
They're applying for hire already. They're applying for hire.
Yeah, of course.
They
yeah.
they park like
But if they're
they
regulated,
park in front of us.
but if they're going to regulate them, how are they going to regulate them? How are they going? What are they
I
gonna
had
say?
one. I had one
They'd have-
scratch my cab once, and I said, "Well, you scratched my cab," and he was like, "I don't give a shit." He didn't care. There was police there. He didn't.
what are you
he
gonna
didn't
do?
care. There was nothing
You'd
I
have to
could
take
do.
civil action against him.
There was nothing I could
But
do.
then you wouldn't even know where he's from or what his address
nothing.
is or anything.
He was really horrible. I can't remember what he actually said, but I wasn't getting anything out of it. That's a fact. So this is what I'm saying. I don't understand how they can even be in a conversation about getting licensed. I don't know how it's got to that and where we've got to.
Yeah, so they're going to have a number plate. They're going to have a registration number for being a private hire vehicle of some sort. And they're going to have some rules and regulations about what it is that they can do and charge, surely.
It's got so depressing thinking that that's going to happen. I'm depressed about that. I think it's disgusting.
No, well, I'm in the favour of the fact. You remember the police? You couldn't be less than 6 foot for the police, could you? And for the city police, you had to be not less than 6'2".
More than that. Yeah. It's very
So
tall.
the fact is, by being large and commanding, you was a police officer.
And you was a bit feared, weren't you?
Well, yeah, and they were all
No one's a fear of the police no more.
no. 'Cause
I saw a video yesterday of Apple store in Brent Cross, and these kids just converged on it, just ran in there, took what they wanted, and ran out. No one could stop them. They had all these security guys. They just let them do it. I've been in my local Costa Coffee, get in the queue. Some guy just walks in, helps himself to the sandwiches, walks out again. I said, "Ain't you going to do nothing?" No, it's not our job role.
What can you do?
Not our job role.
If they was to license these rickshaws, what's to stop someone with a barrow, cart, just jump on that, running you along the road,
A wheelbarrow?
You could have a free for all. It could turn into, because they would go, well,
What are you
I
going to
don't
have to
know
do?
the detail.
they'd all be lining up.
Yeah, what are you going to have to do to get your license?
You know, like there'd be literally someone running in
with a
front of
wheelbarrow.
it. You know,
The old Chinese
they
thing.
just
Yeah,
pick it up and run
what
along
they
the road.
called?
What's to stop having them next? You could have anything. Piggy bank down the road, couldn't you?
What I can't gather from this is, like, there's no rhyme nor reason or any type of reasonable way that they should be licensed. So why is there even it coming up? Why is it in discussion? How can they even think that
It's
they can do
cyclists. It's the cyclist mafia, isn't it? It's the cyclists want that. They will want that sort of thing. They want cargo bikes and everything else. This is just an extension of that.
Yeah, but I think no
All
one's
public
foreseen.
transport like that would be gone. They want to deliver all their parcels, don't they? They want everything
I
done
have
by
to say,
cycles.
for a change, Dave, you're right, and I agree with you.
It's not often Dave's wrong and he's right again.
It took 5 years before we agree on one thing.
But the next step is this. So the scooters that you see, did they reach 60 mile an hour? How fast those scooters
It
can go?
depends
top
on
You
the
mean them big
scooter.
white ones
I
with the
don't.
roofs?
Any scooter,
No, I
the
don't
stand-up
think
scooter.
the ones you rent on the street don't.
No.
They're regulated. The ones
Oh,
you
them
can
little
buy
electric
ones,
ones.
but
Yeah.
I don't think they're all legal. And there's a grey
Grey
area. But I was reading an article the weekend in the paper, and it was saying that That's the first time government level are starting to look at it because of the amount of injuries, and it's the NHS. They're all into the NHS at the moment, bringing the waiting list down. So now they're going, well, we're getting lots of doctors and nurses tied up dealing with broken legs and injuries from people being run over by electric scooters. So it's becoming a burden on the NHS. And most of this isn't reported, is it? Because they just ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
But they know it's a burden on the NHS, so it's become a problem.
Right, but the thing is this. So you take the pedicabs. At the moment, the maximum speed of these pedicabs isn't just pedalling. They have got electric motors attached.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, those electric motors are going to drive them to a speed of 50 to 60 miles an hour, or whatever it is. The technology will move on. They'll also be always adapting them bicycles themselves to bring them up. They're going to be electric motorised vehicles, and the pedals are going to be showpiece.
Yeah.
So, and there already are, in a sense. It's a hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they pedestrianise Oxford Street, what's the only thing that's going to be allowed down there?
Pedicabs, yeah. We need to get a cab that's a transformer that transforms into a pedicab as it goes down and transforms
No,
back
you
out.
need one with one of those big snow plows there out in Switzerland so you can take them all
Take
out.
them all out. Take them
It
all
was
out.
hard enough getting them people out of diesels, let alone getting them in Transformers, man. Come on. Chinese milk floats.
Yeah, it is obscene. But Dave, you've come up with a good idea. So we've foreseen the future. We need to carry them ones that where you run along, dong, 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 the olden days.
Yeah. Just
That'd be good.
yeah.
We'll start that one.
But come up with something that blocks them.
Well, they can't block us because we're not electric or motorised. We're just legs, aren't we? True legs, because we're pulling along, and it'll be very novelty.
Again, like Paul was saying with the scratch and that, the way you got to combat it is go without your cabs, go without your badge, go with a mask on,
Yeah.
and go up there with black gloves on and behave like they do, and just stand round them so they can't get people on the pedicabs. You'll get a police reaction then.
I guarantee you, as a black cab driver, at the front of the rank at Selfridges, if you start having rows with them, you're the one who gets in trouble. Yeah, every single time.
Yeah,
if you ain't got your cab,
to lose, yeah.
If you leave your cab at home and come on the tube, get off at Bond Street, what happens then?
Well, that's different.
That's what I say. That's what you got to do.
That takes organising.
Yeah, and you got to play people their own games.
That takes organising.
All of a sudden, that one who said to you, he don't care about, I wouldn't care then, would you?
No.
So that's the road it'll end up going down, won't it?
Maybe. But this is where we go.
Are you instigating violence?
I ain't got that long left to live anyway. I don't care.
I predict a riot. Dave, I predict a riot. Need to change his monitor.
It's all them young ones have got to worry about it. What do I care?
Yeah. I hear that. Honestly, I hear that. It's got beyond a joke. Like, how can they do this? That is just, I don't get it. The other thing I wanted to talk about is last night I was working in the cab. I was coming north up Tower Bridge Road, right? And there's someone flagging me on the south side. So for me, he's wanting to go south, yeah? So I looked in my mirror, all my mirrors, make sure it was safe. And I did a little turn in my cab. I went like that. Yeah? I picked him up. And he wanted to go north. He wanted to go to Leicester Square. So I've had to go like that again. So what have I done? I've gone in a whole circle, haven't I?
Right.
How many times in a shift do you do that? How many times roughly, Dave, would you say?
I don't know. It depends on the shift.
Lost count.
Yeah, I don't know.
Loads in a day.
Loads, yeah. You turn around, pick some up, they want to go the other way.
Yeah. Because they don't know which way they're going. People in London have no idea what way's what.
That makes two of them.
I want to go to Leicester Square, and they'll be pointing. They'll be pointing to Dulwich, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, so am I. I don't know where I'm going either.
So that's what they want to do this year. They want to get rid of that as well.
Get rid of what?
The turning circle.
Oh, we'll see that with the Ford thing.
That's
you're touching upon the Ford coming out. Get rid of the turning circle.
That's what they want to get rid of. They want you to do that.
Not doing 2 U-turns in a row. They don't want to get you doing 2 U-turns.
Well, technically that's what we would lose.
Well,
Tower
Bridge Road, you'd be able to swing any vehicle around.
Not really. No.
Tower Bridge Road, you get a U-turn in a van.
Yeah.
Come on, mate.
You would down by the Premier Inn. It's wide down there.
I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you.
It's quite wide, Tower Bridge Road.
It is wide, but you're not doing it. You're not doing a whole circle without a shunt, like you used to say. Shunt.
Take a shunt. No.
You've got to take shunts.
Well, on that one.
Well, there is a proper saying. I won't say on here. Don't be a see you next Tuesday. Take a shunt.
Yeah.
All right. Transfer it to Charing Cross Road then, yeah, because that's happened. That happened to me in the same shift.
Yeah,
same thing.
I'd get a U-turn on that.
See, another thing is they
leave it out. You're killing my argument.
No, it's good.
By getting us into, if they get us, this is part of the plan, isn't it? Getting us into a van,
yeah,
and then keeping us on the bigger roads, and then they have these little pedicabs running up, down, up the street, round, and then we'd have to pick people
We're
up from
falling
Park
into it.
Lane or
Are we falling
Charing
into
Cross Road.
That's the thing. Are we falling
Yeah,
into
by
it?
going to something like a van, yeah, because they say them vans, then they go, you ain't got the turning circle, you can't be in Soho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the argument for the getting rid of the turning circle, I think, was quite clearly won for not getting rid of it.
Well, here it was, but not out on the
quite clearly
street.
won. But I think Grant's still in favour of this new Ford. I thought
Look,
it
let's
was
not
nice looking
mention
vehicle.
names. Cause not, let's not go down who wants what, because there's quite a lot of them now. It's not just. It wasn't just.
Oh, there are other people.
There's
who
lots of them that.
I don't think it will win anyway, because I don't think when you've got two equally priced vehicles, why would you buy the Ford? There's not a great deal of difference in price.
Because there's a lot of people that are against LEVC that hate them for one reason or another. You know, they've done this to them. They've done that to them.
There's always some that buy the thing.
ERAD, this, that, and the other. You know, I mean, I don't know anything about this Ford, to be honest with you. You know, I've said stuff what the old one does, but I don't know what the new one does. I'm going to put my hands up to that. I don't know the quality of it. It might be great. It might be a really nice vehicle, but I don't have the turning circle. If it had the turning circle,
nice
I would be 100% behind it.
It will
100%.
be a nice vehicle, won't it?
Oh, I wouldn't care.
It will be a nice, anything new.
Yeah.
I'll buy a new shirt, it's nice.
I saw the Vivaro taxi. It looked lovely, but it isn't a taxi. It's a van.
No,
It's a
exactly.
Rive taxi. And someone said something really simple to me the other day. I thought, you know what? I think it was on the knowledge group. He went, I just want a taxi to look different to everything else on the road. That's it. That's all I'm interested in.
Mm.
And that's what it does right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
You
That's all he
recognise
said.
it as a taxi.
That's all he said. And I thought, why are we all arguing about this?
I
That's
know.
all we need. That's all we need. People to think. And that's what the public think in London. They come to London and they see the difference and they flag you. Yeah? And then you'll get people that say, yeah, but when the light's on, they look for the light. They don't care. Well, yeah, that's true as well. I hear that. But the majority of we've always been Hackney Carriage has always been.
No, but
preference.
again, Paul,
Right.
make yourself a foreigner. You're a foreigner coming
I'm
to
a foreigner.
London. I know you're a bubbling Greek.
Tourist.
Yeah, make yourself a tourist. You come to London. I'm sorry, but the light ain't the instigator of what I think is a taxi. I would wonder what is that? Is that one? Because there's taxis all over the world rip people off.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get in the wrong thing at the wrong time, I arrived in Rome at the station and they come running up to me, taxi, taxi, taxi. I knew straight away they would have ripped off merchants because there's a taxi rank. I'll go over there. They're all sitting there thingy. They're going to take you over there, rip you off, or you go to the rank. I understand how a meter works and I know the rules and regulations, so it's going to be much harder for a regulated taxi to rip me off. I'm looking on the streets. I recognise that as a taxi and I don't particularly know what that other one is. So I want to go safe and get in the thing that looks like a distinctive vehicle that's different to everything else.
Do you think that everywhere you go, though? Because for me, that only works in London. That don't work anywhere else. Because everywhere else I've been, they've had all different cars. At Berlin, I saw they're all Mercs, right? Virtually.
Yeah, are they silver, aren't they, Berlin?
I think so.
Right, and
They're
America
not
and
silver, they
Turkey
weren't
are
silver.
yellow. They go for a yellow.
Yeah, no, they weren't silver, but they're all Mercedes. And you think,
Yeah.
they're all the same, right? Whereas Barcelona, where else have I been? Madrid, Athens.
They're just a light on the top, aren't they?
They're all different cars. A lot of them Skodas and all that. Same with Paris.
Yeah.
All different cars. Don't look the same.
I think you lose his character. The city loses character
Yeah,
by
yeah,
having
yeah.
multiple vehicles as a taxi.
Yes. So we need to maintain.
And we've
it.
always had
Keep it.
we've always had an alternative, but it's been a small minority.
Yeah, it never took off enough, did it?
It never.
That
they
new
never
Metro
stayed with
cab
it.
might have done because it still had
It was
distinction,
distinctive, yeah.
and it wasn't too drastically different.
No.
And that was the argument that they managed to keep it off the thing. Well, they lost that argument, but financially
actually
they done
won.
it. Yeah, no, the
No.
people who were taking them to court lost their argument because they won. The Metro cab won.
Yes, right. Yeah.
That's what I meant.
They
So the
won, but they
competitors lost.
went skint winning, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like a lot of these football clubs.
Right. So the
so-
verdict is get rid of pedicabs
Crush them.
and keep the vehicle. Don't be too happy about the new Ford coming in.
And I think you should fight against things like Oxford Street and that. Try and keep cabs in there, buses and taxis in there, because if they get rid of, when they get rid of us out of an area and out of streets, like Sutton Court Road, for instance, and if they only allow, they only allow them up there, and there's some venues that open up new in Tottenham Court Road, and we can't service them. Well, they say we can if we do a Rubik cube to get on it and then get out of it. And people, that's what they'll have them in there. It's
What
as
is
if
going
it's a concerted effort to put them in pedestrian areas. Yeah, in Paris they don't. In Paris, you can still get taxis going into the pedestrian areas.
Yeah, that's right.
So why can't we have that?
This is the thing, and and the weird thing is, like Oxford Street clearly says taxis, no cars allowed, but they don't enforce that.
Yeah.
Same with Bishopsgate, right? Let's be honest. People will have a go at me saying, "Oh, you shouldn't say it," but it's true. But then Tottenham Court Road has a camera. You get nicked on that.
Tottenham Court Road is bizarre.
Bizarre.
Why they don't allow cabs up there?
Just weird.
It's bizarre. And like somebody recently was talking about the Russians and fighting. I went, who would fight for this country? Would a black cab driver fight for this country? What, fight for the right not to drive up Tottenham Court Road? Who the hell would do
I want to
that?
fight for the right to have pedicabs.
Yeah, who's going to fight for the right? I can't,
Dave.
not to go up Bishopsgate. I mean, it's bonkers.
I was with the first cab on the first day, or maybe first 4 or 5 cabs at the front of Tottenham Court Road when they did the first demo about keeping Tottenham Court Road. I was one of the first ones there, and I wanted to go there every day. You just don't get the support. But all the businesses along there, they all came out. They were like, "Well done, guys. You're doing the right thing." Woman came out of her hairdresser. She went, "Please, like keep coming, because all my customers are all black cab drivers. You know, they stop and they park and they come and get their hair cut, and they're nice people.
Black cab users.
They
as well.
really want. Do you know what I mean? The businesses down there, they didn't want us to not have access.
Yeah, but we're not asking to drive our private cars down here.
No, I know. Who wanted
bonkers.
it? Who wants it?
Remove a part of the transport system. What is wrong with these people?
I know, and no one wants it. It's the council's, I don't know, vanity scheme.
Yeah, there's a perfect
They
example.
get money for it.
Who's going to go to an hairdresser's in the Tottenham Court Road and get a rickshaw? Who's going to go and spend that and get on the back of the rickshaw with a new hairdo?
Yeah.
With some of the music blaring, going out for the night. I mean, who? They ain't, are they? They ain't. They want to go in the black cab.
There's no joined up thinking. Another thing that's coming up this year, I'm told, is that we're getting Bank Junction back, or for a trial or something.
Yeah. Do you think these rickshaws drive around all night hoping for one fare, or do you think they're actually picking up multiple jobs per night?
I believe what you just said, the first bit. They might
they're-
get one job a day.
They're trying to nick one
And
fare and
that's
rip it
why.
off.
And
One
rob,
job and nick
rob
off.
someone
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Like a bottle or a carpet, and they try to get 200 or 300 quid out of them.
So, and that has to be it, because
And
they're
they're
obviously
doing
and if they are, then surely over time people learn to sort of think it's a rip off.
No, there's people to be ripped off, and they've been since
So-
man began.
So when you're ripped off, I think a lot of people's mechanism is when they're ripped off is just to not say anything, not tell anyone, because they feel embarrassed. And I think that's what.
And you move on as well. Pink, move on. You go, what's the point of upping on? Where am I going to go by doing that? Am I going to complain to Metropolitan Police?
Yeah.
Dave,
They're not going to do
why
anything.
don't we go up there, right, and we get in them?
Yeah.
And then we get out of them and say, how much is that, mate? And he
I'm
says
not
50
paying.
quid. So thank you very much.
I won't
We're not
pay
paying
myself.
you.
The lift.
Yeah, because there is no
Thanks for the
legal
lift.
right for me
Call
to
the
pay
police.
you.
Yeah.
What-
Someone goes around and does that.
What
So,
legal right do they have
should
to?
do it.
Yeah.
Should we do it and do a video of it?
Should we do a video,
Should we do
yeah.
a video in the back?
The three of us.
Yeah.
Get in
I'm
here.
up for it.
Get him to take us to the Charing Cross police station.
Yeah, and say what reason do we have? What legal obligation do we have to pay them?
Yeah.
What is the legality? We didn't negotiate a price. When we get in, if we won't say nothing about the price, can you take us, for example, to so and so? And he says, yeah, great. And then he says that'd be 80 quid. Oh no, well, I thought you was a free service. No one's displaying any price or agreed any. Surely that's legal. He's got no civil court case or anything.
Maybe we should encourage all cab drivers when they're out with their wives, use them and
Use
don't
them
pay
and don't pay them. Well, maybe we should check with our lawyers and see if that's a viable thing. But that's our takeaway from this little podcast. Take a rickshaw, take them to a police
So
station
actually,
and say thank you very
we've
much.
just worked out that the cheapest way around town.
Yeah,
Yes,
You-
we probably
you don't
do
have to
cut
pay
this
them.
out because you do us out of work. Everyone again
Lads,
using them for nothing.
It's cheap.
yeah. Oh dear, rickshaws. Thank you. That'd do.